The body of Zimbabwe's late former president Robert Mugabe has returned to Harare. On Monday, the body was transported to his home village of Kutama, where mourners gathered to pay their final respects. For more on this, we joined via Skype by Zimbabwean journalist Zenzele Ndebele in Bulawayo. Zenzele, very good evening to you. Thank you so much for joining us. What is the mood like in Zimbabwe as the country awaits the burial of former President Mugabe, and as it is back, is it back to business as usual?
Yeah, I think for now it's back to business as usual. People have the time to actually pay their last respect to the former president of Zimbabwe. So now people are back to their normal selves. They are talking about what's going on economically, and they're just waiting mostly for the burial, how it's going to be done and when it's going to be done, with a lot of talk and excitement around the monument that will be built at the National Heroes.
So having said that, then, will the body still be in Harare until the burial?
It looks like the body will be in Harare till the burial. There had been talk that the body might be taken back to Singapore, but that was not really officially communicated. So chances are the body is going to be in Harare somewhere until the final burial. I mean, the process of delisting this monument is likely to take 30 days or more. So it looks like we are still going to have a bit of time before the actual burial.
And you understand that the casket has been changed, and if those reports are true, should we read into this?
Well, it's there has been a lot of stories or rumors around this thing, but I think probably because they've been traveling in a number of days, different places, there could have been a reason why the casket was changed. But also there were these theories that probably the burial was actually done and all this. But I don't think that is the process, because they really wanted to take the body of Mugabe to his rural home where he grew up, so that his community can pay their last respect. So probably we don't need to read much out of that.
And we also got reports that Zimbabwean chiefs demand that he be buried according to tradition. Do you think the government will accede to those demands?
Well, according to the chiefs from his rural home, Zimbabwe, they were saying that he is a chief himself, although he did not take up the chieftainship, and he was supposed to be buried in accordance with that custom. But actually what it means, according to the custom, if you talk to the historians, they will tell you that the Zimbabwe chiefs were buried in a cave, and mostly the people would know about their death a week or so after their burial. So being the leader of Africa, of a country who really had all this fame and talk, I don't think he would be buried in a cave, because the government wants him to be the National Heroes. His grave is going to be a tourist attraction. People want to go there and see where he's buried. So I don't see him being buried in a cave, although some people think that probably there'll be just a monument and it will be buried up. From what we know, the family and the great that we buried the nation.
So such conflict or such reports, do you think will delay the burial of former President Robert Mugabe? Do you think it will take more than the 30 days that was announced?
I think that in a way the family has now resolved this whole issue of burial with the government. But what will take time is the construction. What kind of a monument do they want to build, or what kind of a shrine do they want to build? So obviously this is not a cheap thing. Mugabe loved the Far East style. So if you see his house is built in a Singapore-like style. So something like that probably will be built for his monument. A lot of material is likely to be imported. A lot of expert is needed to build this thing that will be larger than life, more like. So that could take time. That could take more than 30 days. But at the end of the day, when all this is done, I think they then have to just bury him. They can't keep him forever.
Has the tension between the Mugabe family and the government, particularly ZANU-PF, calmed down?
With so many meetings that were held, I think they are now sorted. Like my own theory is that the family has a lot to lose if they don't agree with the government. Like it came out that the house that Mugabe was staying in actually belonged to was registered in the name of ZANU-PF, that is the party. The house in which his daughter stays in is actually registered in the party name. So if they try and antagonize the government, they might lose the pensions, they might lose these properties. So they're trying to be nice because Mugabe is gone and they're thinking about life after Mugabe. What can they do without the state? So they will need their assistance in terms of the funeral, in terms of the life after that, in terms of the pensions, maintaining the lifestyle that they've been living. So I think the family needs the government more than the government needs them.
I mean, during the viewing of the body, we saw throngs of Zimbabweans lining up the streets and lining up the stadium to have a final glimpse of Robert Mugabe. Do you think that was purely as a result of, just paying their last respects, just to find closure, or was it simply an act of, look, it's just good riddance?
Well, I think there were two groups of people. I remember that Mugabe won the last election that he contested in with a huge margin. So there are people who really love Robert Mugabe and followed him. So he never lost an election. He was taken out in a coup. So there were those die-hard supporters. Then there are other people who really didn't like Mugabe and they went to the Hirozeka, to the funeral to actually have a proof that finally this man is gone and I want to see that he's dead. But, you could see other people cry. So there are people who genuinely loved Robert Mugabe and they really went there to pay their last respect.
All right, Zenzele, thank you so much for your time. We appreciate your time. That was Zimbabwean journalist Zenzele Ndebele joining us via Skype in Bulawayo.